Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Cool, I'm all good, thank you.
Yeah, very good. Well, good morning. Today we're bringing our COVID update, our daily Queensland Government COVID update, to you live from Rockhampton's new Museum of Art. It's not open yet, but we'll have a lot more to say about it in just a moment. But first we'll do the COVID update. I'm really pleased to advise there are no new cases of COVID-19 in Queensland, either in the community or in quarantine. We did 7,183 tests in the last 24-hour period. Queensland Health report that they vaccinated 10,644 people. So statewide, our vaccination rates now sit at 77.83% for first dose, which starts to give us confidence about when we will meet those 70 and 80% targets. And for second doses, we are at 64.12%. Here in central Queensland, those rates are lower, and so we need more Rocky locals to go and get vaccinated. In the Rockhampton LGA, local government area, 71% of people have had their first dose and 56 have had their second dose. And in Livingston, that's roughly the same. 70% have had their first dose and 55% have had their second dose. And so part of our message here today in Rockhampton is please go and get vaccinated. Those deadlines are racing up upon us, and so the sooner people get vaccinated, the sooner they can protect themselves and their communities. Queensland Health is running a vaccination clinic at Block C of the DAF building in Parkhurst, but also pharmacies and general practitioners all have plentiful supply of vaccines. I'll ask the Acting Chief Health Officer to say a few words.
Thank you. It's very nice to be able to stand here and say that there's zero new cases locally acquired, zero new cases hotel from international arrivals, and that's wonderful. The other part of that, though, is that we can't relax. As the Deputy Premier said, we're inching closer to 80%. We can almost touch it, and please go out and get vaccinated, particularly those in the Rockhampton region. As we know, some of the areas of regional Queensland, the numbers aren't quite there. Please, this is the chance. Go out, get vaccinated. We're getting closer to 80%, closer to borders starting to reopen, and everyone's lives are starting to resume. So thank you. Get vaccinated.
So we take questions on COVID, and then we might do the press conference about the Museum of Art, and then take questions on other things.
Are you afraid in regional areas complacency is setting in, especially out west, and should more health resources be sent out that way to ensure people are getting vaccinated?
Look, to be frank, I don't think the problem here is insufficient resources. We have clinics all over the place, and our problem now is people need to go and get vaccinated. And that's why we're working so hard to get that message out. It's very, very easy to get vaccinated now. For a long time, we didn't have enough supply. Well, now we do have supply. It's available at Queensland Health clinics, at pharmacies, at general practitioners, and we will be opening on December the 17th, if not sooner. If we meet those targets sooner, then we will open sooner. And so to communities that have not reached those thresholds yet, they are putting themselves at risk and putting their local health services at risk. So if it's not good enough to get vaccinated for yourself, please do it for our health staff who will bear the brunt of outbreaks if regional areas don't meet those targets.
Is there any update on the group of people who were given that ultra-low dose at Flagstone? How many people have received or booked in for a repeat dose?
They're all in the process of being contacted. From my awareness yesterday, there are over 120 of those have been contacted already, and they're being talked through with their own individual circumstances as to whether their first or second dose, and talked through. But the big thing is they're not at any risk from this. We just need to work with them to make sure that they're fully vaccinated.
Question for Steve. What did you mean when you said welcome would build resilience should there be a community outbreak? Are people who test positive going to welcome quarantine?
So there will be a wide variety of uses for the Wellcamp facility. The Agriculture Minister is there today touring the first of one of the cabins that are now on site. He's highlighting how useful that facility will be for agricultural workers. There's a shortage of both workers and accommodation for them, and so I was simply making the point that while we can't predict the future, we can know that a facility like this will have multiple uses.
Why is Wellcamp still needed for fully vaccinated international students when we're expected to hit 90% vax by early next year, which means fully vaccinated travellers wouldn't need to quarantine anyway?
Most international students are in accommodation that would not be considered suitable for home quarantine, and so having the Wellcamp facility will give us a way to safely bring those international students back. If you think about the kind of dense accommodation that international students live in while they are studying, the risk of an outbreak in one of those settings is quite significant, and so I've been really pleased to work with the universities and the international education sector to ensure that Wellcamp can allow us to bring international students back for the first semester of next year. That will also allow us to start bringing medical and health students back, which will allow us to get them back into our hospitals, and that's causing some staffing issues in our hospitals not having access to those students.
Due to the size of the Pinkenba site being reduced, will you also review the capacity of Wellcamp?
Well, first of all, Wellcamp will come online much sooner than the federal government's Pinkenba facility. In fact, they anticipate their stage 1 will come online about the same time as stage 2 for Wellcamp, and so we've been able to move faster, and we will be able to access that facility sooner. You'll remember the history of all of this. We spent nearly a year calling for one of these facilities, and the federal government is unable to deliver any beds in theirs until the second quarter of next year. Ours will be online sooner and will be available for returning travellers who might not have suitable home quarantine accommodation, international students, agricultural workers. It will be a useful facility for the entire region.
Queensland health staff with legit vaccine exceptions say they haven't heard back from management and now can't go to work. So what should they do?
All those staff are in the process of being contacted. Some of those, there's an exemption process that's being worked through. If they haven't been directly contacted, the best thing is to talk to their line managers directly, and they'll all be worked through as individuals and their exemption applications considered.
How long will Queensland Health employees who haven't had that jab be paid for, and at what cost?
Look, at this stage, those who have put exemption applications in or have got no response, they're on full pay for this week, and then after that the process will continue, and it will be individual based depending on the circumstances.
And where is that incentive to get vaxxed if they're getting paid not to work? So
Well, it is only for a week. We'll encourage them to follow up, and please, I just ask them all to get vaccinated.
and are you considering expanding the home quarantine trial before that 70% vax target on November 19th?
The home quarantine trial is still being evaluated at the moment. We're also looking at the results of a trial that was conducted in South Australia, and the results of that were due to be reported back to the AHPPC, and we'll consider the results of the South Australian trial and the Queensland trial and move from there.
Minister Darth yesterday said Queensland will be waiting on AHPPC advice before deciding whether or not to shorten home quarantine from 14 to 7 days. The Federal Health Department confirmed Queensland doesn't need that approval to do this. Why can't we shorten it from 14 days to 7 days, or is Queensland just being overly cautious?
I think we're taking all the information on board, and that question was discussed at HPPC yesterday as to whether it's 14, 7, 0 and a whole range of options, and it's also going to National Cabinet on Friday. So I think it'd be premature to jump before all that evidence is there, and we need to make a decision that protects Queenslanders. Remember, Queensland is still not at 80% vaccination. New South Wales and Victoria have reached 80% vaccination, but they've also had a significant number of their community affected by COVID, and we don't want that in Queensland. We want to make sure Queenslanders are safe.
And just for the Deputy Premier, please, has the Queensland Government spoken to the Federal Government about allowing international flights yet?
Into Wellcamp.
International flights yet into Queensland?
I think the federal government's well aware of our roadmap and when it will be appropriate for those flights to start arriving.
Should it be compulsory for everyone to be vaccinated at the Ashes test matches at the Gather in December?
That's something that can be considered over time. It's not something that there's a direct intention for at this stage.
Just shifting gears a little, currently in Queensland, the rates of assaults on hospital staff are the highest they've been. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I think it's disgusting. Like, there's never any excuse for abusing or assaulting our health staff. They go to work every single day with one motivation: to take care of Queenslanders and look after Queenslanders. And every time I hear a story about one of them getting abused or assaulted, it's just, it shouldn't happen. They shouldn't have to deal with it. There are a wide range of programs in place to protect them, including programs to train our staff in how to de-escalate situations and how to deal with situations, as well as security and CCTV and all of those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, people just shouldn't be assaulting or abusing our health staff.
Are there any new strategies the state government is employing to try and drive this down?
Look, as I say, each hospital and health service has a range of programs designed to keep staff safe in all of the different settings, that we have, and we'll continue to do that. But we also need to send a message to the community that it is never okay to abuse or assault staff. Is that everything on health? And then we can. Okay.
Switching back to the Pink and Bar Wellcamp, what is the point of having two facilities?
Well, first of all, we need one sooner, and the federal government wasn't able to build one sooner. Ours will be online by Christmas.
Yep. And just another question. So you don't think that having a second facility is a waste of taxpayer money?
Oh, well, let's see if the second facility gets built, but I'll take them at their word. They said they'll have it built by April next year, and we're doing everything that we can to be ready to manage it for them after that point in time. But let's remember, both stages of our Wellcamp facility will be built by them.
And just on the tourism for Harvey Bay.
Would you ask some questions at the end of the
It's just one more. No, just one more, that's it.
Okay.
So the New South Wales Premier urged New South Wales residents not to travel to Queensland with borders open. What's your response to that? And what are struggling tourism operators going to do if they can't attract those interstate travellers?
Look, the Premier of New South Wales can say whatever the Premier of New South Wales likes. We'll be focused on the health and wellbeing of Queenslanders. Okay, we might sub you out. Thank you very much, and bring in the cast for part 2. Well, a central part of our economic recovery plan out of COVID-19 is investing in our regions. And today, I'm so pleased to be here at Rockhampton's brand new Museum of Art. You can see in the just behind us here just how fantastic it looks. This is a $36 million project that the Queensland Government was pleased to contribute $15 million to. Brittany was on the plane with me this morning, and she was telling me that Rockhampton has one of the best regional art collections, but that it hasn't been able to be displayed properly. Well, what better place to display it than here? There's been a heap of local tradies employed in building it. There will, of course, be jobs in operating it and supported in the local arts community. As you see people flooding out of Sydney and Melbourne into Queensland's regions, they're going to expect to be able to experience cultural exhibits like this one, and so I'm sure that it will be well welcomed by locals and visitors and people who are moving here. I think it will also send a message to young people and school students that you can make a career in the arts, that you can aspire to that. So the building's now finished. We're going to have a look. I understand there's no art in it yet, so they'll be filling it up over the next little while. But I'm just really excited to get a sneak peek at what this building's going to look like. Thank you. Leanne?
Well, thank you very much. Can I acknowledge Brittany and Barry for their advocacy in the Queensland Government support of this particular facility, and of course the Mayor and the vision of the Rockhampton Council. for this fantastic piece of infrastructure supporting the arts. We've heard so many times, and we know it very well, that Rockhampton is home to one of the most impressive, extensive collections of Australian art. And this investment, $15 million from the Queensland Government, really allows us to see what is going to be, and what is already the shell of, a world-class facility that will be home to a world-class collection of Australian art, and will obviously help Rockhampton to be a place of a world-class destination for many people from across this country and beyond. So we know that during COVID the arts were hit very, very hard. In fact, we see now the arts recovering slowly but surely out the other side of the restrictions that came about as a result of COVID. The Queensland Government supported the arts with more than $70 million during that period, including our $22.5 million recovery roadmap for the arts and the cultural sector. We know that the arts produces incredible opportunities for employment into the future. We know that it generates about $8.5 billion to the Queensland economy, and it supports about over 90,000 jobs across our state. So to have this fantastic Rockhampton Museum of Art, where we'll see, like I said, world-class opportunities for artists and arts workers, as well as visitors to this fantastic part of our state, I think everybody should be incredibly proud to have this fantastic infrastructure right here in your own neighbourhood.
Oh, sorry. Run on another line, then I'll work with you. Councillor Tony Williams, Mayor Rockhampton Regional Council.
So, tell us what's happening next now at the building. So the building's been completed. What's going to happen now?
Yes, look, we're in that phase now where all the tradies have moved out. Over 900 tradies over the time of the construction of this fantastic building and facility. Those tradies move out. All the finishing touches have been made. Now we'll start to move the artwork in, looking for an opening in early 2022. That's going to be fantastic. We're planning a fantastic event on that grand opening, and it's something there when all this artwork will be here. Our local community, tourists and people from far and wide will come in and be able to have a look and be blown away by the amount of artwork that we have here in our own collection, but other collections and other exhibits we'll be able to bring into this facility, which is going to be fantastic. It's for the economy. It's something there that we can see local jobs, but also tourism, people coming into the region once they hear about how fantastic this building's going to be and the artwork collections, will come in and visit the area because they know how good it'll be to come and experience that firsthand. So we see this as a great asset. There's a few more surprises along the way with the East Street links, where we'll have a thoroughfare coming through from the back of this building, straight through from East Street, which again will line up with the opening, which again will give more access into the area as well. We did plan to have it with the River Festival, the opening this year, but unfortunately timelines just pushed us out. So we want to make sure we do it properly, and that'll be in the beginning of next year. So really looking forward to that, inviting everyone back, and we'll have I'm sure we'll have a celebration there that'll beat all celebrations we've had in the region recently.
Speaking of the East Street link, so tenders went live for the construction to knock down that area. Do you know how they're going at all?
Look, they're going through that process at the moment. I haven't got the details on that, but those facades on East Street there, unfortunately we couldn't retain those. We're looking at putting up a steel frame, but it'll be a silhouette of those existing facades with the framework going through that whole section to make sure it's secure. But then it'll be another vibrant area where we'll be able to have entertainment as well as you lead yourself into this magnificent building, the Customs House building, and then our fantastic riverbank, which has been again supported by all levels of government, and it's going to be something there our Rockhampton locals will be very proud of, but tourists and visitors to our region will be as well.
There's going to be obviously the gallery aspect to it, but will we also be able to host events here?
Look, and that's the plan, and I'll go through the details with that, but I'm sure there's other ways that we can get exhibits from other locations to come through, but also share our artwork with the Central Western as well, and other councils as well. So I think there's great partnerships and great opportunities going forward to really make this the home of art in Central Queensland. We see the impacts of COVID and what's that happened to our the culture and arts and festivals. This will really just add that COVID's behind us. we'll be able to really move on and make sure that everyone can experience those events. So everyone get out there and get vaccinated, and we'll all be able to have a great time and be able to share these facilities.
Well, good morning all, and it's wonderful to be here today with the official handing over of the new art gallery, a $15 million investment by the state government which supported jobs at a very important time during COVID. Just reinforcing the Mayor's message there about getting vaccinated. It's up to you. There is so many opportunities to get out and get it done. There's been pop-up clinics all over the place, and I'm really appealing to those 18 to 39-year-olds that you have to get out. Do it for yourself, for your mates, for your family and our community. It is just so important. With the gallery here, it is going to be absolutely wonderful with tourists coming in to have a look at this wonderful building and the beautiful art that the council has. With the access onto East Street, that will be great for our local businesses as well. Bringing people back into our city community is just so important. So well done to the council and to all those that have been involved in the construction of this job.
Thanks, Barry. Good morning, everyone. Can I thank the Deputy Premier and Minister Enoch, Minister for the Arts, for being here today. This is an amazing building. Just wow. It just makes me so proud to represent this area, and can I pay great credit to the member for Rockhampton, Barry O'Rourke, and also the Premier, who was then Minister for the Arts. This idea was born out of Rocky. It came with money from with the state government and the federal government, and now to see it here today, if only the people who built Customs House next door would have known that their masterpiece there would perhaps one day have another masterpiece like this sitting right next door to it. The arts is so incredibly important, not just for tourism, but for our community, for our young people to learn, to aspire, to question, to think about doing things differently and how things were, but how things can be in the future. And I'm really proud that this gallery is opening alongside the new gallery at Emu Park as well, and also a gallery that we've just opened at Yeppoon too. So Central Queensland really will be the beating heart of the arts, I think, in Queensland into the future. Congratulations to everyone involved.
Very good. Everyone happy? Any questions? No? Yeah. Okay, we might have a look through them.